people are acting on a whole nother level on that. So yeah, we just see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Good morning. Welcome back to Mona's Take. I am your host, Mona Rose, and we're here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Today's video is going to be on Survivor. We are looking at the merge, or possible merge, and there was a lot of things going on. So let's jump right in. So, I will start out by saying again that I hate this shorter season. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Last night's episode, we'll start as a recap. Coco went to Tribal. Gio was voted off. Ryan realized he's on the bottom. So they get back to camp. Everyone gets a letter, drop their buffs, and gather their belongings. Well, Coco and Vesey both get a note saying, drop your buffs, grab all your stuff. A boat takes them to the Baka tribe. I guess probably because they had more members or better camp. I don't know, but that's where they ended up at. And this is day 12 for them. Day 12, and we're already at a merge. I do not like the shorter season. So they get to the challenge, and as we suspected, they're split into two teams of 6. There's 13 people, so one person has to sit out. They draw rocks, and Jeff tells them that whoever wins the challenge is going to get a merge feast, and they're going to get their buffs, and that they're going to be part of the merge. If you lose, you're going to tribal council, you're not safe, and you don't get your buff until after tribal council to make the merge. Sorry guys, I just came from physical therapy and today was a rough day, so I'm not quite 100%, but we got to get these videos out and keep them going. So they draw rocks to pick teams. The person who draws the gray rock is extra. Jeff explains all that to them and tells them that nobody can take away their safety. So in the past 2 seasons, we've seen that middle person go to another island and have the choice to reverse the results of that challenge. But he says, nobody can take it away from you. If you win, you're safe, you're getting the merge feast, period. The extra person got to choose which side that they were going to align with. You either sign with the red team or you align with the blue team. If your team wins, then you get the merge feast and you get the buff and you're safe. If your team doesn't win, then you're going to be one of the ones that are up to be voted out. Voted off the island. So when they were back at the tribe, when they were all there and they were talking and stuff, Noelle ended up inadvertently telling Ellie that Cody had the idol. She didn't know it was an idol, but she was talking about how funny Cody was and how he built this cowboy hat out of pom-poms and that he took beads from all of their bags and intertwined it in the hat. So that let Ellie know right away that he's the one that has the idol for Vesey. So she immediately tells Jeannie, and she's like, I think we need to work with them. We can tell everybody else. Make it look like we're voting for Cody. We'll tell Coco that we're voting for Cody, but we'll actually go after James, I think is who they said originally. So there's a lot of talking going on. as soon as they get back to camp, Noelle tells Owen that she got the steal a boat. If you remember, when they went on the journey, it was Owen, Noelle, and James. And she told them if they would let her have whatever advantage it was, that she wouldn't forget it, and that she would keep them safe come the merge. If she, do what she could to keep them safe. So she immediately tells Owen that hers is steal a boat. So we know that Cody has an idol, Carla has an idol, and Janine has an idol. Those were the three beware idols. Gabler also has an idol that's only good for last night's tribal council. His expires after that. Several people don't have a boat because they lost it in their journey. And it comes up on the screen and it's showing everyone that has an advantage or an idol. So, they get to the challenge, and the way the challenge is set up is there's a sled that's buried between a bunch of sandbags, or underneath a bunch of sandbags and coconuts. They have to get all the sandbags out and put it on their platform, then so that they can get the sled out. And then they have to go along and pick up containers at different points along the way. It's kind of a puzzle. It has sayings on it, on the containers, and you have to make a staircase up to get a set of keys. Once you get all of your containers, then you have to get up this steep wall. And what it reminded me of is if you've ever seen skateboarders where they have like the curved walls, that's what it was. And it had a little bit of net at the top. So they had to scale that, get on top, unlock the one puzzle piece, then they could start their puzzle. So when they drew the rocks, the red team was Gabler, Jesse, Janine, Carla, Ryan, and Dwight. The blue team was Cassidy, James, Ellie, Owen, Cody, and Sam. And remember, Noelle drew the gray rock, and she went with the blue team. So sometime during the challenge, Carla's hand gets smashed, and it's bleeding everywhere. All right. Let's try this again. So blue team gets behind right off the bat. When Carla hurts herself, she's telling them, go on, do what you got to do. Don't worry about me. She's got blood draining down her hand. I don't know if she got them smashed between the crates or what exactly happened, but it was when they were loading the crates. So she's got blood streaming down one of her hands. And they get behind. Red team makes it to the wall first, and I mean, they flew up the wall. And they had no trouble at all getting their team up the wall. Blue team gets to the wall, and Carla was having issues. Of course, she can't grab because she's got her hand like this, and it's blood's everywhere. But they finally, she has trouble getting up the wall, and Gabler has trouble getting up the wall. But they finally come up with a plan. They get them all up the wall. The red tribe has already started on their puzzle. So they're pretty much behind. They get in, and they lay it all out, and they get it figured out really quickly. And the puzzle was you had to spell a phrase, but you had to, the pieces could go anywhere. Like, the pieces could fit in anywhere, but you had to be able to use the letters to spell the phrase. Well, blue pulled it out. They come from behind, and they ended up winning the challenge. So, Noelle is safe. Now, so is Gabler. Now, Gabler has an idol that's only good for tonight. So does he use that idol to maybe help someone else that might be in jeopardy? Does he just let it expire? We'll see. So, 'cause, 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 ' So back at camp, while the blue team is having their feast, Ellie goes to talk to Cassidy, and her plan is to vote out Cody. Her plan is to tell everyone that she's voting out Cody. But actually it's going to be James. Was her plan. So she starts talking to different people. And when she talks to Cassidy, Cassidy's like, oh, it's got to be Cody. It's got to be Cody. Okay. She tells James it's going to be Cody. Well, then when she's talking to Cody and them, she's telling them James. So she's telling a lot of different people a lot of different stuff. Well, while they're having their feast, they start talking about the game. And Ryan says, well, there's 7 of us here. That's a 7-person alliance. We can all just band together, and we have a majority alliance right here. Well, they're telling him, yeah, but in their confessionals or whatever, they're saying, a lot of them are saying, no, I'm not here for that. That's not happening. Well, Gabler throws out Ellie's name. Now, remember, Janine's there too, and her and Janine are close. And Gabler's telling him that he wants her out, that she went through his bag on day 3. And they're all like, what? And he's like, yeah, she searched my bag on day 3, so I want her gone. And Janine's like, what is he doing? So, of course, when she gets back to camp, it's the first thing she does, find Ellie and tell her. Well, if you remember, Ellie wasn't the one that actually went through the bag. Ellie was the one that was look out, while Janine went through the bag. But when it got back to Gabler, it was said that it was Ellie. So she gets back to camp. She tells her right away. Well, the first thing she does is go and get Gabler. She's like, what are you doing? Why are you throwing my name out? And he's like, because you went through my bag. And she's like, no, I didn't. And he said, yes, you did. He said, Sammy and Owen both saw you do it and told me as soon as you did it. So then he throws Sammy and Owen under the bus. I'm like, what are you doing, Gabler? I mean, there was a way to say that you knew that without saying who it came from. So Ellie says, well, I don't know why you're throwing my name out. He said, well, you've been throwing my name out. He's like, you didn't. He's like, Janine has an idol, doesn't she? Well, Ellie didn't know he knew that. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, you didn't tell me that information, so evidently you don't trust me. So if you don't trust me, I don't trust you. And she's like, I can't do this anymore. I got to go talk to people. And she realizes she's not getting anywhere. Her and Gabler are just going round and round. So then she finds Sammy and Owen. It's like, why would you tell Gabler that I went through his bag? And they're like, what are you talking about? We don't know anything about that. So they're playing dumb. And they're like, look, we'll talk to Gabler, we'll talk to everybody else, we'll clear your name, everything will be fine. And they're both saying on their confessionals, we want her out. This is the time she's got to go. So then another conversation that's going on, Ellie tells Cody, Dwight, and Jeannie that Cassidy threw his name out. Told Cody that Cassidy threw his name out. And that they needed to split the votes between James and Cassidy. And Dwight tells her, well, you better be careful because Gabler told everyone at the feast about the bag search thing. And Jeannie right away spoke up and said, I told him it wasn't true. She's like, no, it wasn't true. So then there's that. So then Dwight goes up to talk to James and Cassidy and tells them that Ellie's throwing their names out. And so right now everybody's looking at Ellie. And what's funny is in her little confessional she was talking about, I didn't know the Survivor would be this easy. I mean, it just comes natural to me. I'm just a natural at Survivor. This is just way too easy. Number one, you never get that cocky in a reality game show because you will go home. And number two, it's just messy to be the one person out of 13 people that's going around talking to different people and throwing out names. You don't want to be that loudmouth. You don't want to be the one that everybody's looking at right off the bat. But she was. So they get to tribal, and Jeannie tells Ellie that if she thinks the votes are going that way, that she'll give her idol to her. So they get to tribal council and they're talking or whatever, and then they do the vote, and Jeff said, is there anybody that has any idols or advantages they want to play? And it was crickets. Out of all, the advantage that's out there is to steal a vote, and then 4 different idols. Nobody used anything. Janine didn't even use her idol on Ellie, which she said she was going to. So the votes come out. The first vote, in no particular order, but there were 4 names that came out right off the bat. Owen, James, Cassidy, and Ellie. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell's going on? So there ended up being 1 vote for Owen, 1 vote for Cassidy, 2 votes for James, and the rest were for Ellie. And like I said, there were some that didn't have a vote. So Ellie ended up going home. So I got to looking at the end of it to see who voted all the different names, because I'm like, what the hell? Owen voted for Carla, which I don't understand that one. Carla voted for Owen. Ellie and Owen voted for James. So I guess they were going to try to stay strong and get James out. And Noelle voted for Cassidy. So I'm like, I don't understand the Carla and the Noelle vote. Ellie and Owen make sense because they're working together. But those other 2 didn't make sense to me. So Ellie ended up going home. And that's what happens when you play too hard, too fast. And if Janine had to have used her idol on Ellie, James would have been the one to go home. So that's got to kind of bite. But she was 100% surprised that it was Ellie. I mean, her mouth just dropped open. So I don't know what all else went on at tribal or at camp to make her think that, but that's what it was. Again, the season is way too short. We don't even have time to see all of what's going on. One of the deleted scenes that I saw on Twitter was of Ryan building like a wall thing on the beach, and everybody was saying, what's he doing? He was saying, oh, he's always busy, he's always doing something. Well, he was taking bamboo and he built like a wall this way and then like a little wall this way, and then he put a tarp down so people could sit on that tarp and lean up against that wall on the beach. It was actually pretty cool. But everybody was talking about the fact that he was isolating himself. So his name could have been one that came up if Ellie hadn't have did what she did. And of course, again, you make yourself a target. Just like Gio did, just like Lindsay did, you make yourself a target. And that's what happens. So, next week should be individual immunity. The tribe has merged. So, we will see if, I think now that we're down to individual immunity, we're probably going to see a lot more of the endurance games that we normally see. Who can outlast the longest type things. We'll see. So that is your recap for Survivor. I also am going to have my video out today on the challenge, if you watch that. I am working on something with someone, and I hope that they actually join me. to do a like tea time, just a weekly thing to talk about reality TV gossip, things that are going on. I have also started, because some of my viewers started watching Real Housewives of Potomac and Beverly Hills. I'm almost caught up with both of those. So as soon as I can get my arm well, I plan on having a lot more videos coming out. But right now, it's just going to be this 2 times a week for Challenge and Survivor. So, that being said, you all have a great week. And as always, much love.